Charles Oliveira was not born a champion. He was born where dreams usually die, in the favelas of Brazil. Poverty, violence, streets that don't forgive weakness. As a child, Charles wasn't strong. He wasn't fearless. He was fragile, sickly, different. Doctors told his parents something no family wants to hear. Their son might never walk properly. Nerve damage, weak muscles. Sports, fighting, that wasn't even a possibility. But Charles never learned the meaning of the word impossible. While other kids played soccer, he watched fights. He watched warriors. And in them, he saw something no one else saw in him: hope. At just 12 years old, he stepped onto a Brazilian jiu-jitsu mat. He wasn't the strongest. He wasn't the fastest, but he had something far more dangerous: patience and pain tolerance. He lost again and again, but he never quit. Every loss was a lesson. Every training session was an escape from the streets. As he grew older, his style evolved. Quiet, calm, deadly. Chokes came naturally, joint locks even more. Eventually, he transitioned to MMA and then the UFC. When Charles arrived in the world's biggest organization, he was young, inexperienced, and lost. Wins came, but so did losses, painful losses. At one point, Charles Oliveira had more defeats than most fighters have total fights. People started saying, he's talented but mentally weak. He doesn't have a champion's mindset. He always breaks under pressure. Worst of all, he started believing them. Every walk to the octagon became a fight, not just against his opponent, but against his own mind. And just when everyone thought his story was already written, Charles Oliveira disappeared. What they didn't know was he was being reborn. They didn't doubt Charles Oliveira once. They doubted him for years. Every time he lost, they said the same thing: he's talented but soft. He panics. He breaks. And the worst part? Sometimes he felt they were right. For most fighters, losing once is painful. For Charles Oliveira, losing became a pattern. Big opportunities came and slipped away. Momentum built and collapsed. Each walk to the octagon carried more weight, not just expectations, but judgment. Fans didn't see the nights he couldn't sleep, the weight cuts that drained his soul, the pressure of knowing one more loss could end everything. At one point, Charles Oliveira wasn't fighting to win anymore. He was fighting not to fail, and that's the most dangerous place a fighter can be. The body still moves forward, but the mind hesitates. Punches are half thrown. Decisions come late. Confidence disappears. Behind closed doors, people whispered, maybe he's reached his ceiling. Maybe he's not built for greatness. The UFC didn't wait forever. Charles was close to becoming just another name. Another what could have been. And that's when everything snapped. Not physically, mentally. Charles stopped lying to himself. He stopped pretending he was something he wasn't. Stopped trying to be safe. Stopped trying to fight like champions he admired. Instead, he accepted who he truly was. A man who thrived in chaos. A fighter born in discomfort. A survivor. He made a choice that terrified him. He moved to lightweight. It wasn't easy. The cut still hurt. The doubt didn't vanish overnight. But something changed the moment he stepped into the cage. For the first time, he wasn't afraid. Charles Oliveira stopped respecting danger and started inviting it. From the opening bell, there was pressure, forward movement, no hesitation. Opponents felt it immediately. There was no safe range, no moment to breathe. If they stood, he hurt them. If they clinched, he punished them. If they went to the ground, it was already over. Submissions came like instincts, guillotines, anacondas, rear naked chokes. No setup, no mercy. And when fighters tried to test his chin, they paid for it. Flying knees out of nowhere, left hooks thrown with bad intentions, elbows that split faces open. Charles Oliveira wasn't just winning, he was finishing violently. Fight after fight, opponent after opponent. Suddenly the narrative changed. The same people who doubted him now said, this guy is different. This version is dangerous. No one wants to fight him. But Charles didn't care anymore. He wasn't fighting for approval. He was fighting because this is who he was always meant to be. And when the call came, a vacant title shot, he didn't smile. He didn't celebrate. He nodded, because deep down he knew this wasn't luck. This wasn't momentum. This was destiny finally. Charles Oliveira became UFC champion. Wasn't loud. It was emotional. No screaming. No trash talk. No arrogance. Just tears. Tears for the years of doubt. For the losses that almost broke him. For the child who grew up with nothing but faith. Holding the belt didn't make him feel powerful. It made him feel free. Free from the voices. Free from the labels. Free from the past. But freedom doesn't last long at the top. Because once you become champion, everyone comes for you. Every challenger studied his weaknesses. Every critic waited for the moment he would fall. And Charles Oliveira didn't respond by changing who he was. He leaned deeper into chaos. Each title defense was a war. Not technical showcases. Not easy nights. Wars. He got dropped. He got rocked. He bled. And every single time, he came back. That's what separated him. Most fighters panic when hurt. Charles Oliveira attacks. Most champions play it safe. Charles goes forward. His fights became nightmares for opponents, because even when they thought they had him, they didn't. Records started falling. Most finishes in UFC history, most submissions, most chaos inside the octagon, not because he was perfect, but because he refused to quit. Then came the losses. The belt was gone. The spotlight moved on. The critics returned like vultures. His run is over. He was never that good. He's done. But they misunderstood something fundamental. Charles Oliveira had already won, because his legacy was never about the belt. It was about transformation, about becoming the man he was told he could never be. Even without gold, fighters still feared him. Fans still believed in him. Because when Charles Oliveira steps into the cage, there is always danger, always chaos, always the possibility of something unforgettable. From a boy who struggled to walk, to one of the most feared finishers the sport has ever seen, Charles Oliveira is not a perfect champion. He is something rarer, a champion built by suffering, forged by failure, empowered by belief. You can doubt him, you can knock him down, you can count him out, but you will never erase his story. Because some fighters chase greatness, Charles Oliveira bled for it.